We're joined now by the gaffer of the All Whites, Anthony Hudson. Not the best news regards your captain, Winston Reid, or your captain, Chris Wood. But let's worry about Winston Reid and what happened there with West Ham. You probably didn't want that, but it was probably expected, wasn't it, Anthony?
Well, we did. You know, we've been through this before. He's been really, really unfortunate over the last season and a half with injury. So I'm not surprised, but disappointed. I'm disappointed more from him because he's missed a lot of football for us and for his club. So it's not good.
No cloak and dagger here, though. You're quite accepting of the fact that he is injured, and this is all above board.
Look, if you were to look at West Ham scenario, I think they're probably suffering more than us because, you know, they've had 2 losses now at the beginning of the season. The club and the manager's under a huge amount of pressure, and they lose arguably their best centre-back and leader on the pitch in the warm-up, and he's stretchered off. So they desperately needed him in that game at the weekend, and they're going to need him this weekend as well, and they're not going to have him. So the club missed out on him at a really, really important time, and we do too. But really, you know, this is what we've been preparing for the last 3 years, that we don't need to be relying on any individual player to get into this last little stretch. We've got a good squad. No one's going to be coming into this squad that's new or not experienced having to play in a game like this. We've been involved in the Nations Cup and other important games, so we're in a good place.
The process behind him being invalided out on this, is this just a case of you guys getting an email or a fax or whatever from West Ham going, look, he's out? What do you get any say in this? Do they talk to your doctors and so on and so forth? How does that actually work, Anthony?
Well, it's a medical issue, so what will happen is the medical department from West Ham will contact our medical department, scan, any scans that are had, MRIs, any medical information is shared and sent over, and we always look at it and make a decision. We have, as per FIFA rules, we can actually call a player in and get our own medical department to look at the player if we're not satisfied and we want to just have a double check. But in a scenario like this, it would be completely absurd. So look, the process was my physio sent me the scans. He gives me his report. He gives me the medical verdict, and we're all happy with that. Obviously, not happy with what happened, but we're comfortable and we just move on. And I spoke to Winston at length yesterday. To be honest, we've been having a lot of discussions recently about the team and what needs to happen, and it's a shame because we needed him on another level for now, but it's not drastically going to hurt us. We're in a good position.
So who slides in, Anthony? Who's your ready-made replacement? Well,
we have a strong squad now. We've got plenty of players. I think I remember hearing you on the radio a few months ago when we was at the Confeds, and I think probably you could select my squad for me. I think you said on the radio, but we've been working very hard for 3 years, and there's plenty of players now. We're in a position. I remember when I came in, the team had just lost 9-2 on aggregate to Mexico, and in that team there was a player that had been brought out of retirement. There was a player, out of contract, not even with a club, unfit. There was players making their debut, players playing out of position because they didn't have a player to play in that position. And I said it publicly, that we just can't go into this important stretch, in that scenario where we're relying on debutants and older players to come back out, players out of contract. So that's what we've been doing for the last 3 years, giving younger players, chances. We've got players, that are eligible have come in. Femi, the Greek defender, who's come in. He helped us qualify for the Confederations Cup, so he's played in all those island games. So had some big games against Mexico and South Korea. So look, we've got some young players as well that have got plenty of caps under their belt now and have established themselves in the team and gone off and got professional contracts elsewhere as a result. So we're in a good place. No one will be coming in here who's not ready, who's out of contract, who is making their debut for the All Whites. We go into this final little stretch and we're in a strong position. But
as yet, Anthony, undecided. I thought you'd throw a name at me straight away, but it's still very much up for him. How long have we got? We've got not that long before these home and away matches, are we? It's within striking distance, so it's still very much a debatable position for you?
Well, it's not. Look, I know what I want to do. It's not something I want to announce. for certain reasons with regards to it's not the right time to do it. And, when I decide it's the right time to do it, I'll let the public know. But I just need to take my time on it. But certainly I've been in enough of these scenarios to know you need a plan B and a plan C. So this is not panic stations. We're in a good place.
It was worth asking there, wasn't it? Anthony Hudson, the gaffer, joins us. You never know. You might tell me one of these days. Hey, Chris Wood, you got to be stoked for him, don't you? This is immense. Now, he's on his way back, isn't he? He's not going to find a reason to stay, because it's a big move in his life right now in his professional career.
It's massive, and he deserves it. The season he had last year, it was, not many players can do that, and I think he was always going to get a move off the back of it. And it's his dream. It's his dream to play in the Premier League, like it is most footballers. He's done it. It's a huge achievement, for himself, but also for football here. I mean, it's just such a great inspiration for young players. I think I've said many times in public what got him there was his mentality and how hard, not just he's got ability and he's a goal scorer and all that goes with it, but it was just his mindset, and he's completely driven to get himself in the right shape and condition, and make sure he had such a big season last year, and he deserves everything he gets right now. But to be honest, the hard work actually starts now for him. And he has to now go up a level and fight even harder for what he's got. So, but we all believe in him and believe he can do well.
Great stuff. Hey, with that, we've got to fly. Anthony, as always, thanks very much for your time. I'm sure we'll catch up again before the going gets tough up against the Solomons. Thanks for yours.